Hey traders, very warm welcome to you. So if you trade US stocks, how do you find stocks to trade? Several things you want to do. First of all, obviously, if you have a specific criteria in terms of a setup, you're going to use some kind of scanning tool. That's fine. That's not what I'm talking about here. What I'm talking about here is if you're one of those traders, a day trader or swing trader who looks for opportunities based on volatility, you want to kind of get involved when there's big gaps, when there's big movement, when there's expected big movement, that kind of stuff. You want to go where the volume and the flow is. This is what I'm talking about. So one of the first things you can do is you can go on to just a standard news website. I like to use something like Bloomberg Markets. That's going to tell you what the biggest story of the day is. Now, bearing in mind, this may not yield, a kind of a good portfolio of stocks to trade, but what it's going to tell you is going to tell you what traders are looking at, because all the big guys out there have Bloomberg, and if Bloomberg Markets has got it, it's going to be on the terminal. It's going to be kind of at least one of the reasonably high positioned news stories on the terminal. So here straight away we can see exactly what people are looking at, and so perhaps if it's related to something you want to trade, natural gas on here, we could maybe go and look at natural gas to trade. If it's something about a stock gapping, we could go and look at that. And we have a little scan through, and we don't get caught up in specific news stories or any kind of bias, but we just want to see, what's potentially moving. So we might look at our stocks, we might say, okay, click on the news for individual stocks or whatever it may be, and give us an idea. Okay, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go on to stocktwits.com. So StockTwits is purely US stocks, and again, it's looking for stocks to trade. And when we go into the actual site, we're going to see a trending bar across the top here. Here we can just scan and see kind of these are the popular ones with the community, but also it's going to show us how much up or down that stock is. Now obviously there's going to be news flow, something like this that's up almost 30% is going to be news on that. Maybe that will fit our criteria as something that we want to trade. We can scan through and see what exactly we're looking for. So some gappers here, as we can see, something's been gapping on news, some gappers up, some gappers down, maybe just some volatility on some, maybe yesterday they were active, but it gives us a kind of starting point, an umbrella of, or should I say a kind of basket of stocks to start from, that we can start to jot them down, start to put them in our tracker, and start to say, okay, do we want to look at them for potential trade ideas if we're looking for some sort of more volatility ideas. Another thing we can do is we can go onto TradingView, and you can use the heat map. Here's a heat map, and it's going to show us the kind of percentage gainers, the volume gainers, percentage losers as well. I've got it configured actually for London Stock Exchange here, but you can have it for US exchanges as well. They're going to give you, as the market has opened, kind of the big gappers of the day, the big winners, the big losers. And obviously as the day goes by, perhaps you're looking for an afternoon play, you can then look at the kind of volume gainers as well, which are going to give you an idea of perhaps what's moved and what's not. Which brings me on to Finviz. Finviz is a great way of looking at, one way of finding stocks that are potentially going to move today is to look at what moved yesterday. So if you look at the top gainers yesterday and the top losers yesterday, the most volatile list, these are all kind of things on the main page, most volatile, unusual volume, that may well give you kind of an idea as to potentially what's going to happen today. Because if yesterday there was big volume, it's reset itself now because actually when I'm looking at it, it's open. But if you look at it before the open, it's going to give you an idea, hey, this stock was going crazy yesterday, so that goes potentially on my list of something that might be active today. So you've got a couple of ideas. One is stuff that's just gapping new today, and you're going to go onto StockTwits, you're going to go onto Reuters, you're going to go onto Bloomberg, you're going to look at the heat map, or your heat map will be after it's open, but pre-open you're going to look at those things, StockTwits, Bloomberg, and your TradingView heat map. Going to see exactly what's potentially moving, what's gapping. Then you're going to have your stuff that was moving yesterday or recently. That's going to come from Finviz. You're going to screen for things based on the unusual volume, unusual movements, big movers, that kind of thing. And then once the days kind of progress, that's your pre-market ideal list, and you can look at those and fine tune those to the ones you want. And then after, as the days kind of progresses, if you want to come in sort of midday and trade like a second half of the day move, you can then just go onto your trading or Finviz and just scan and use a scanning screening tool for stuff that's moved X% or stuff that's gapped. Very, very simple scanning tool that you can do in the Finviz screening. We've talked about this a couple of times. If you're familiar with it, go and check it out. It's very, very easy to use. Again, scan performance based on performance, today up, today down, all that kind of stuff. So that's pretty much after you've opened. Some ideas there for you guys of how you can screen for stocks. I know if you're specifically a US stock trader, sometimes it's difficult. You don't want to spend too long in the process looking for stuff that's moving. Maybe you don't even want to trade the stuff that's moving, but it might open up an opportunity for you, especially if you like that volatility, especially if your strategy relies on that. Just a few ways of getting at least some ideas, generating a flow of ideas for you, so you can discard them or you can dig into them a little bit deeper. Let me know what you guys look at. If you're a US stock trader, how you screen for ideas and plays. Stick links in the comments below. Let me know what your process is. Good trading, guys. Take care. See you in the next one. Bye bye.